looking new in no time. For more information, simply call 317-991-3150 or simply visit our website, llovt.net, for a free quote. Call today. Love Life Outreach Construction Company works for you. Call 317-991-3150. You'll be glad that you did.
The following is a paid program. The views and opinions expressed are those of the sponsor and do not necessarily reflect the views of Radio 1, WTLC AM 1310, 92.7 FM, 95.1 FM, The Light, and its management.
Black people need to own our own businesses, which will provide an economic base. Teach our youth to become self-sufficient. Learn how to maximize our political affiliations and fight for criminal justice reform. You just tuned in to Black Power Presents with your host, Antonio Lipscomb. Come on, let's talk.
All right, we're here again in the studio. My name's Antonio Lipscomb, Black Power Presents host, and I'm just excited again this week to have another show. We come to you live each week from the hours of 6 and 7, and I'm having a great day today. I'm gonna tell you something. Maybe you might want to consider drinking water. I tell you what, I've begun to drink a lot of water. So much so that I stopped drinking a lot of soda and what I would consider to be vitamin drinks and juice and whatnot. And I've just been drinking water lately, and it's done wonders for me. I'm used to getting colds, and once I get the cold goes away. But I tell you, I say for the last couple of months, at least 4 months, I've just had some phlegm in my throat and my chest. It just seemed like it wouldn't leave me. I cut down on my dairy products. One of my good friends, Benny Muhammad, told me about the dairy. I cut back on my dairy, and I started drinking more water. And I tell you what, it makes all the difference in the world. A lot of times I was kind of sluggish too. I always tired. I know I do a lot, but it seemed like I got a little bit more energy too now that I've been drinking a lot of water. I do want to give a shout out to all the mothers for happy Mother's Day, belated Mother's Day. We're just so grateful for all the mothers and what you do on a daily basis. I tell you, it's underrated. And I tell you, we are so honored and privileged to have women out here raising children, especially the women that care about their children and want to see what's best for them. All right, we got another wonderful show. I got a good friend of mine. One of the greatest, I feel is the greatest. I know he is not going to like me calling him the greatest, but Dr. Brown, are you there with us? Thomas Brown.
I'm with you. I am here.
Okay, that's my friend. To me, he's one of the greatest minds in history that I know of. I tell you what, when I got a question, someone challenges me, and I can't explain myself the way I would desire to explain myself, I get on the phone with my good friend, Dr. Brown, and I say, Dr. Brown, I know I'm right, but I just can't say it the way you would say it. And he gives me a thumbs up when I'm right, and and challenges me when I'm wrong. But he helps me be able to see things on a deeper level. And I just really want to appreciate him and his presence and his friendship. Hey, Dr. Brown, how you doing today?
Oh, as some of the old folk used to say, or in our culture, I'm fairly middling.
Now, you took us way back when you said that. I'm thinking of horse buggies and carriages and stuff like that when you made a reference to that. Okay, but hey, Dr. Brown, we was talking earlier about this idea of violence and being in the city. And our church, we're going on a monthly fast. We were talking about fasting. And one of the things about fasting I found with my own personal life is there's just not eating and drinking just never done nothing for me but make me angry and my breath stink. I mean, I just really didn't have any spiritual connection with not eating and drinking because I have a very high metabolism. And so a lot of times I forget to eat, so that gives you a definition of my slender build. Now, however, since I've been married, I've been not exercising as much. I picked up a few pounds, which I was desperately in need of. But I tell you, this ideal of cleaning yourself out, like I was mentioning about drinking water. I started drinking a lot of water. I feel better, Dr. Brown, by drinking that water.
Well, that's but the advice that was given to you was a very positive
Mm-hmm.
positive notion or idea
Mm-hmm.
or positive reality. Remember, our bodies are what 70% water.
Right.
Made up 70% water.
Right.
Water is fundamentally a liquid, a fluid.
That's right.
That does what? It cleanses the body.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Internally, the water cleanses you.
Mm-hmm.
Externally, the water cleanses you.
Yeah.
So when you were given that information about drinking plenty of water,
Mm-hmm.
that ceases your capacity you're not going to become dehydrated. You're flushing.
Right. Right.
And at the same time, while you do drink water, always have with your thought process that you're cleansing yourself, not just entertaining, but you're cleansing yourself.
Yeah.
And we all have a different metabolism, meaning body motion, body activity.
Mm-hmm.
But water is very important and prevalent. And the brethren who shared that with you to look at that, I think that was good advice. And at least you did one thing. You listened.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Now, in case you don't know it, I'm actually sharing this program on Facebook as well as YouTube. So if you see me concentrating, that's what I'm doing. I'm just trying to get as many listeners as I possibly can to jump on the show with us. But Dr. Brown, this month is, I think, is Mental Health Month, and you often refers to us looking not only just at mental health but mental illnesses. Do you want to comment on that and share with the listening audience what you mean by mental illnesses?
Well, in my conversation with you, I was sharing. We often talk about, and it's important. We talk about mental health.
Mm-hmm.
The question becomes, what are the illnesses make mental health necessary? And I don't think that we give I don't think in the various forms of media do we give enough information about the various kinds of mental illnesses that we experience. We come up with some good, what one would say, good terminology there. The mental illness of bipolar, or we come up with schizophrenia. We come up with terms like paranoia. We come up with words, but mental illness is prevalent in regard to what your thinking capacities are in regard to your physical. A lot of people become mentally ill out with the experience of their diets, with the experience of what they eat. That's one area. Then you've got mental illnesses that take place that I pay close attention to is my brothers and sisters who come back out of war and dealing with young men and young women and older men and older women who have been in, I'll reach way back, being in Vietnam, those who have been in Afghanistan, those in Iraq, Iran. They came out of the war zone, but the war didn't come out of them.
Right.
And there is that illness from war. And then you've got many of us who really have mental illnesses that take place in our growing up in various communities where there is that, as I presented to you just in conversation, is the factor of incest.
Right.
Incest is a mental illness.
Right.
that can, one would say, and people wouldn't like it be said this way, but it's a mind blower.
Mm-hmm.
The incest, what happens within our various communities, and incest is more driven by very inappropriate sexual behaviors and those dynamics. I thought it was very interesting when I watched the funeral
Mm-hmm.
of DMX.
Right.
He suffered a mental illness factor at the age of 4 years old when I think it was mentioned that his uncle gave him let him puff on something that had been draped with a drug, and it impacted his thinking from the age of 4. Here he was a genius,
right?
But he experienced a high that locked him in, and a lot of us are caught in those experiences, which
right?
People are not quick to talk about.
Right.
It's interesting.
It's definitely interesting, Dr. Brown, how we have been hurt mentally and some, of course, physically. We have these record-breaking homicides that we're still trying to get around and deal with. Shout out to Commander Michael Wiley. We're supposed to be getting with him on the 17th to talk about me and hopefully some parishioners. And of course, you're invited, Dr. Brown, to come and talk about what's going on as far as these illnesses in mental health in relations to the homicides and also the sexual abuse. We can't leave that out. There's a lot of sexual abuse that takes place in homes that people don't want to talk about, and definitely we want to be able to deal with that. Hey, got a regular caller, Larry, that's on the line. Go ahead and give your comments, Larry. How you doing, sir?
Oh, I'm doing just fine. I've been over to the State House today, and I've seen our black legislatures make a fool out of themselves, trying to have them rain down more restrictions on the black people. It's as if they're shooting rats. But you talk about mental illness and everything else, Anthony. The answer to that is labor. We don't want to work. If you work, I don't care if you're the most worthless, mentally retarded, whatever. If you got a job to do, that's going to make you feel better and pick your life up. But the only thing our people can think of now is how much dope they can sell. That's the bottom line of all this, the sexual impropriety, all that garbage that they want to dredge up and try to sell dope to. People need to get to work. If you don't work, your idle mind is the devil's workshop.
Okay, Larry, let me ask you a question. Normally you jump off real quick. I got a quick question for you. I was trying to find this article that the caucus, the Indiana Black Caucus put out in relations to the health departments. They sent out a warning or something like, not a warning, but a urge of the majority, supermajority to deal with the allow the health departments to have more access or make decisions based on what they have assessed. Did you hear anything like that down at the State Department? There is an article that I received. I just can't find it.
Okay, well, here's what that means, Anthony. That means that from Bill Crawford on now, from the CHINS programs, that our kids are being rated mentally retarded. And, of course, their parents are getting a stipend off of their backs. And also that they want to set up junkie factories within our neighborhoods, so not to institutionalize people who are suffering from not a disease but a self-imposed impairment. They try to always classify that as a disease, but it's nothing but a lie. So all they're trying to do is get it set up where they can sell dope. It's been like that on down through the years. The upper class wealthy black folks have been allowed to sell dope to the people down below them, and that's what they're doing right now. All you have to do is go over to the State House and watch the legislation that is coming through there and see. I asked my Senator, Pat, whatever her name was, but she's not a senator now. But I asked her about a bill that was coming through to set up these neighborhood dope places, and she said, Larry, that's been all being pushed forward by the Democrats. So, Anthony, let me tell you, People just need to go to my YouTube channel, Larry Behind the Glass Man, on YouTube and listen to some sermons. But we are our own worst enemy, and the people at the top of the food chain are nothing but predatory vultures who use as a shield racism to further marginalize average people like me who's trying to make a living. I don't know how my customers gonna look at me, what he's gonna think after he's been paying a line with some fentanyl addict, George Floyd, or somebody that robbed some woman and tried to rip her bosom off and take her money that she had for her rent. And now we're gonna build idols and statues and embarrassment of it. And Nate Lee, I thought he was a smart attorney, but he's gonna support something like that. It's nothing but a bunch of garbage, and they know it's garbage. We need to get to work, Anthony. That's the only thing that works in this system is your labor and your skilled labor. That's what we used to do, but we've been talked out of that by a bunch of garbage-minded people and fraternity, bougie colored people who think they don't have to work. They don't want to work, and they use racism, use us as a human shield to cover up for them. I mean, it's embarrassing when you hear them talk. It's really embarrassing. They're nothing but Jew brats. That's what they are.
Well, thank you so much, Larry, for your call. I appreciate it each week, man. Larry's very passionate in his position, and I tell you what, whether you agree or disagree, he's going to get you thinking, that's for sure. I just want to, before I take my anonymous call, just want to give a shout out for our job fair that we're going to be having with OPS on Wednesday from the hours of 9 and 12. We're trying to get people jobs and training. Matter of fact, he raised a great point. We do have free training through Minority Contractors Collaboration and also working through the next level jobs opportunity that the state and governor has put together to help us get back to work. So he does raise a strong point. Of course, if you're working, you got a skilled trade and you have a livable wage that also gives you a variety of different life options to kind of help alleviate some of those mental illnesses. Dr. Brown, I don't know if you want to comment on that, but I'm going to go ahead and grab this next caller real quick.
Go ahead and do that.
Go ahead and do. Okay. Go ahead, Anonymous, put your comment, a question.
Good evening, Anthony. How are you?
Good, sir. How are you?
Fine, thank you. I just want to take a moment here and tell you how much I enjoy and look forward to hearing Larry speak on your show and other forums like this.
All right.
He is so insightful, and he's a very astute and very intelligent man. And he says some things that that people just do not want to hear because it really strikes a nerve for people. And as long as he never uses profanity.
Well, he does sometimes, but he can get away with it because all the other content he says. But he's okay.
But anyway, I don't. Yeah, I know some shows on the station that they don't allow him to call in.
Yeah, they'll beep it out when he go there. But yeah, Larry's great. Well, I don't have any problems with Larry calling in. Matter of fact, he helps everybody, get engaged. But go right ahead.
So, like I was getting ready to tell you, I think that any show that disallows him to be on, that's a major disservice because he says a lot of things that people need to hear. What
struck you about what Larry mentioned? What was one of the key things as we go to our next caller? What were some of the key things you think he said was worth hearing?
Just things like I know he's just very enlightening about it. He's just very knowledgeable. And
pick something. I mean, what subject did you like that he raised that you're very passionate about, as well?
About people working and getting in the labor force, and I think that this situation has been going on where people can apparently get like over $900 a week for doing nothing. That's not good,
right?
And one more thing here. I think you saw where they're going to build a supermarket or grocery store up around 38th and Post here in the future.
Okay.
My question is what measures can be taken to counteract why, other retailers and groceries in that area are closed? And unless they address that and come up with some kind of resolution, we're going to have the same thing with this deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's a challenge on all fronts, man. I tell you. But thank you so much for calling in, and we appreciate you. Okay, have a great day, Anonymous. All right, we got Lisa on the line. Lisa, go right ahead with your question and comment. Are you there, Lisa? Lisa, are you there? Okay, if you're there, Lisa, I'm sorry. You may have to call right back in because I don't know if this is the Lisa that goes to our church, but we would love to hear what she has to say. I just cannot hear her. Dr. Brown.
I know what you're going through. I've been there and I do it all the time. I think she's on the line. Are you there, caller?
No, she's totally off the line now.
Okay, go ahead.
But Dr. Brown, I think we got something started because callers are calling in. As a matter of fact, we don't mind taking callers. So if you want to call in with your comment or question, we love it, man. We this is what this show is about, us communicating with the community. So we were talking about this mental illness piece. And let me go back to this now, because you look at the laws that are being passed as far as the marijuana across the country. Then you start seeing young people now smoking this Katie. You know, I don't know all about what's in Katie, but it just seems as though some of these young people are actually damaging their brains. Now, you know, it used to be a time when you smoked marijuana, you didn't really have all these laced chemicals. But now when you hear and see people and smell people smoking marijuana, they really smell bad. I mean, even after they have smoking that marijuana is allowed, it just stays on their clothes. I remember one person came in my office and they smelled like a weed factory. And I know she couldn't have been smoking because she was in my office. And I know we don't allow any weed smoking in our office. So I didn't understand why that smell was so pronounced. But do you got any comments, Dr. Brown, when it comes to people self-medicating? I know Larry spoke of drugs being sold legally, but it seems like there's a lot of drugs also being sold illegally in the community.
Well, when Larry brought up drug addictions, see, the drug enterprise. So let's take it that way.
Okay.
I'm trying to keep it simple.
Mm-hmm.
When he brought up the fact of drugs in our community, he is very correct. It's a historical fact and a phenomenon, because drug selling in communities, be they black, white, or whatever,
right,
is an enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
Your minority development operation to bring men and women into the labor force
mm-hmm.
is an enterprise.
Yes, sir.
And so now look at the word enterprise and play with it in the future in the things that you do. When Larry mentioned what the legislators in the black experience are doing, that's an enterprise.
Right.
And in those enterprises, it's all about money. It's not about the money. It
mm-hmm.
is money.
Right.
So in our capitalistic system, enterprises, if you ever want to take something serious, you can have one of your loved ones to study the origins of medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And medicine, there is on the wall of the Eli Lilly main headquarters a statement by, as people call him, Daddy Eli. He said, all drugs
mm-hmm.
have a side effect.
That's right.
All drugs have a side effect. So there are various kinds of drugs that are put in the marketplace legally
mm-hmm.
and illegally, as you were saying. Now, right. If you want some marijuana, you can go to Chicago, you can go to Illinois, you can go to Ohio,
mm-hmm.
you can go to Colorado, you can go to California, and marijuana is a drug
mm-hmm.
has now become a legal enterprise. There is a problem here, is that our capitalistic system and our democracy is a hypocrisy,
mm-hmm.
and our capitalistic system is not about a morality of what I call compassion for the human experience,
mm-hmm.
the compassion for money.
That's right. That's right.
And then you die.
And then you die. And like you say, and then you got to spend the money for the burial.
And then you die.
So it's still about money when you die. All right, Lisa, you've been waiting patiently for us. We hopefully you can come on today. Lisa, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. I know that's my Lisa. That's the Lisa that believe in prayer.
Something must be wrong with that phone. I think I got some haters in the national arena. But anyway.
Go right ahead. Hey, you know what? I want to give a shout out to Lisa. She comes on every morning on our prayer study line. Every morning, Community Church Indy, we have a line that we come on and we talk about these things, and we're talking about purging ourselves and detachment and fasting and cleaning ourselves out. And I always ask all the people to attend the church, see if you can up your water intake. And I think you'll feel a lot better. But Lisa, what's your comment or question? And welcome, Black Power Presents.
I really like Larry. And the one thing I like about Larry, what he said was, they want to know all your business. That's the thing that I agree with on Larry. This system wants to ask you all these questions, and and then after you answer all these questions, they don't give you nothing. They take all your stuff. Yeah. So it's like, what is really going on? Yeah. This is not a capitalist system. This is socialism. It seems like it's moved into socialism some kind of way, and there is a battle going on between the people that's like, look, you ain't gonna tell me what to do. I'm a grown person, okay? Yeah. Now, you might be able to tell a child what to do, but you're not going to tell a grown person where they can go, where they can't go, what? What they can do. That's their choice.
Yeah, yeah.
So it is crazy. And the only reason why I really recognize it here in Indiana is because I've been out of here. I lived in Boston. I lived in other places, New Mexico. Then when I came back, I was like, oh, this Indianapolis mentality is ugly.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Lisa, for your comment. I tell you, I think that she's right to a certain extent. I mean, it is socialism, and also, of course, probably was leading the real problem in relations to what we see in society is the problem with capitalism. People want to make a buck. Dr. Brown, let me ask you this question. Have you, in your infinite wisdom and being on the earth as long as you've been, ever thought that Cardi B song, I think she says her gushy gushy, talking about her female parts, that is up and she ready to drop it, it's hot, and then on top of it, this song is not labeled adult content. It's actually a popular song. You can't go nowhere and not hear it. And she's talking about her, her pee, body part. And then you have mothers with their 6 and 7-year-old daughters doing videos of this while this song is playing, and they're talking about their big bad gushy gushy. Okay, this shows right there that mental illness is really taking so many different forms, and then people wonder why these young women are not valued because they have been objectified, and then of course it seems like this attitude towards women has been accepted because some of the women, I'm saying, not saying all the women, I'm saying some of the women have accepted this as a new norm. And so consequently, when you spring forth new norms that's so abnormal, in my opinion, then it births a lot of single homes and women getting molested, men molesting women, young girls, and then of course men seem like men do a lot of molesting and incest and all this sort of thing. You want to get back to that? Because I know Larry talked about working, but right now we're talking about mental health. Maybe next week we can talk more about the working aspect.
Well, you have in that narrative that you just explained in 3 or 4 sentences, I'll give you a word to play with. It's called brainwashing.
Brainwash. Okay.
And it's also known, based on our social media now, phenomenon is it is a method of mind control. You think about it. You can put out a lot of information and we say re-education, miseducation. This is the concept that the human mind can be altered or controlled by certain what I call psychological techniques. music can have a psychological technique. Brainwashing is said to reduce, I would say it this way, to reduce its subject's ability to think analytically or independently, to allow the introduction of new and unwanted thoughts and ideas into that mind, as well as to charge their attitudes, values, and beliefs. The term brainwashing was first used in English by an old guy by the name, 1950, in Ed Hunter, to describe how certain governments appeared to make people cooperate with them and give them new concepts. Even in the situation of the black experience. Do you recall? Well, you're much younger. One word I remember in the 40s and 50s, you better never call me black, but you can call me colored.
Right.
Then later on, we came up with the word black, and then we moved the word that we were African Americans. Well, we were Negroes, then we were African Americans or Afro Americans. I'm just talking about the language, how it can create a certain amount of mind control. But brainwashing, when it comes to even our women, not only was the hip hop generation, but how we were able to have ourselves motivated with a lot of emotion by just songs and name calling.
Right. Well, Dr. Brown, that is very insightful. As I see Ron holding, hey, I just want to say, as before Ron speaks, maybe some other callers can call in and help me out with this, because I'm gonna stay on this, Dr. Brown, about this, because we just celebrated our mothers, and this is no disrespect for the mothers who feel passionate about protecting the minds of their children, and particularly their young women. But maybe I might be missing something. I mean, is it wrong to encourage your children, or even your daughter, mother and daughter rather, to jump on social media, play a song by Cardi B, speaking about their body parts and gyrating and dropping down and up and turning and twisting, and the 6-year-old or 7-year-old is doing the same exact dance that the mother's doing on social media? Is that right or wrong? I mean, am I missing something? I just want to leave it open for interpretation. And maybe am I too old fashioned, or am I too judgmental? Please help me out with that. And Ron, that's not for you, man. If you want to comment on it, I ain't trying to walk you down to that, man. That's just a thought I'm throwing out there. But Ron, you doing all right, sir?
God has been good.
Hey, man, welcome to Black Power Presents. What's your question or comment?
But I'm gonna tell you, I was already there.
You was there? Okay. All right. I didn't want to try to box you in, brother. I just wanted to hear what you had to say.
I'm already there.
You was already there. Okay.
The word that so many of us seem to have struggles with is sin.
Right.
That word there, you can let Dr. Brown come on with his amazing genius. That word there, sin, encompasses a whole bunch of stuff.
Right.
Anywhere from Cardi B, in my opinion,
right,
to all of the people that got shot and killed in Indianapolis this weekend.
Right.
I don't see Crump nor Al Sharpton here for those.
Right.
There's just so much stuff that goes on, falls under that big old word sin. I'm not going to put capitalism in that word, because we need capitalism. I love capitalism. I go to work every day, 2 jobs, just so I can have more money to do the stuff that I want for me and my family.
That's right.
And in addition to that, I'm a giver and a donator.
Yeah.
So you can't help people if you're broke. Trust me, I tried it. I've also been broke.
Yeah.
And I thank God that I don't put myself in that category anymore.
Right.
I love the thought that Larry puts out. Some people seem to have so much struggle with the truth For me, every time I hear somebody throw out racism and slavery, I'm saying, yeah, maybe, but that's 400 years ago. You got the so-called black and brown people that I hear about. The brown people don't have food deserts. They have grocery stores in their neighborhood. How did they get here 15 minutes ago, and now they got grocery stores in their neighborhood, and black people don't have grocery stores in their neighborhood because of the food desert?
Ron, you started something. I want you to hold on, man. Hold on with us for a little while. Would you let Dr. Brown let Dr. Brown respond to that? Do you think, Dr. Brown, do you think that there is a racist problem, particularly here in Marion County? Is there a racist problem? And I understand his content of saying that there's opportunity there, but is there a racist problem here in Indianapolis?
I'll answer your question. I would say yes, and I would flip that card and say, as Ron has put it, within the context of religion, the word sin, and then I would flip it into another concept. Sin is nothing but evil. Evil is racism is evil. And if there is evil, then there is sin. Now, which comes first can be always dialogued or debated. I don't criticize, I analyze, and he's very correct. If sin is evil, then evil is sin, and racism is evil. Right. And the uniqueness uniqueness about evil, it can be visible, and it's very good in being invisible.
Go ahead, Ron, what's your comment?
With that said, you can't just call everything racism. If it were as bad as we thought, you got to remember, we've had a black president twice in this racist society that we live in. There was a time when, if you want to talk about racism, there was a time when me, my folks, my ancestors were all property. We are not property anymore.
Right.
I'm not saying there is not some racism, but it's not enough to make it the be all end all as to why we don't apply ourselves to make things better for us.
Right.
If all you do is blame white people for stuff all the time, you will never get up. We will never get ahead. We will never achieve, because there's always going to be white people. They ain't going nowhere.
That's true.
All you're going to do is blame white people and racism for everything. That's a good look. Blame white people.
Wait, that's
I don't spend my time blaming white people.
Well, that's a good point. Now let me ask.
What they've done has been wrong, no doubt about it.
Right. Now let me
every single day though, if it was racism, you couldn't even go to work. You couldn't own the house that you live in. You couldn't own the car that you drive. If it was just all racism.
Right. Now let me ask this, Ron. What do you do for a living?
What do I do?
Yes, sir.
I work for Lowe's. I'm a project coordinator. I sit in my living room every day from 9 to 6. And you, if you heard my phone just now, you also know that I am the second greatest Lyft driver of all time. Okay. When I got off today at 5 o'clock, I turned my phone on and went on to start looking for more money this evening, so I could be more capitalistic.
Okay, Ron.
So I could pay the bills.
Well, I hear you, brother. I know where.
Work 2 jobs.
I know where I can get a loan now from Brother Ron. No, I'm just joking, Ron. I don't need a loan. But thank you so much. Thank you so much for your call, man. I really appreciate that that insight. Just wanted to keep Ron on just a little bit longer, just to keep.
And I appreciate it.
Hey, I appreciate you, Ron. Have a great day. Okay.
God bless and thank you.
God bless you as well. Hey, Dr. Brown. I just wanted to entertain Ron for a second because he did have some outstanding points, you know, when it comes to what was and what is, and do we dismiss, because it's not as much racism as it was back then? Do we dismiss the racism that's happening or taking place today? Because I think he did willfully say that there still is some.
Well, the racism is the racist problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's not our problem, but we are making it our problem.
Okay.
Racism is the oppressor's problem.
Okay.
And the oppressed is embracing. If since I know a person is racist, or I know a institution is racist, then I don't participate. I don't want my people to participate in. Our people needs to participate in. That's even from our church institutions, from our various business institutions, from our various cultural settings. Is we know who the enemy is. We know where the evil is. How do we reverse our thought pattern and work collectively more together? We overcome racism by bridging ourselves into a unified front as brothers and sisters. Racism is going to be here. You don't have to worry about it, because it's not just here in America. It's global.
Right.
And it's not just racism against black folks. There's racism against my Indians in this nation, the native Indian. Then it's in India, it's in China, it's in Africa. You got caste systems, class systems. But what does that have to do with where we are here in what people call the United States? I call it the divided states of America. What do we do collectively to develop our own economic base? Right.
So you're listening to Black Power Presents. I'm your host, Antonio Lipscomb. If you got any comments or questions, feel free to call in 317-239-1310. It's the number to call. I'll say that a little slower because my mentor, Dr. Brown, taught me this.
Slow down.
He said, slow down. Don't go too fast. So I'm going to say it for the persons who might want to try to call in. You just pulled to the side of the road, but you couldn't hear that number. I'm going to say it again. 317-239-1310. There you go. Got another caller on the line. Feel free to go ahead with your comment or your questions. We're talking about mental health. We want to be healthy mentally. We want to detach ourselves from what's hindering us from growing. Just want to let you know, in our church, Community Church Indy, we have black and white in our church, and we're on one accord, and we love all races, and we want you to know that we're all working collaboratively together to do right by all people, and that includes black people. Doctor, I see my good friend, my mother figure, and my strong, confident Dr. Dorothy Heron has joined us. Dr. Heron, how are you today?
I'm almost perfect. I'm out in the community, knocking on doors, sharing about the love of the Lord and all the resources that we have up at the Him by Her building.
Well, praise the Lord. Him by Her Collegiate School of Arts is a wonderful, wonderful school.
I got Lorraine out with me. Lisa's out here. We're just knocking on doors, making friends with our community.
Right. Now, listen, I want every listener to hear and know that Him by Her Collegiate School of Arts is one of the best well-kept secrets here in Indianapolis. If you have children by K through 8, feel free to register them. I'm working on registering my grandkids into that school because it's such a wonderful, phenomenal school with great educational opportunities for your children to learn and to be a part of that. Now, Dr. Heron, if someone wants to try to register for Him by Her Collegiate School of Arts, what would be the best approach for them to go online and get registered or make a phone call or whatever? How can we get these kids registered?
Well, I'm old school. I'm just old school. Mm-hmm. I would go to the door. I would go up to the school. They're doing tours from 9 in the morning to 7 in the evening. And if you pull up there to that gate, there's a phone number. You can call and they'll let you in. But, you know, we got the high-tech folks. If they want to go online and register, that will work as well.
Mm-hmm.
But
let's get it done. We need to support our own in our community. They redone that school. I tell you, this building looks phenomenal. That's where we have our church services every Sunday from the hours of 11, about 12 o'clock. Well, about 12. It's about from 12 to 2, somewhere around in there is where we have our church services. I think everything about him, by her Collegiate School of Arts, the leadership, Harry Dunn, all the staff members. Matter of fact, one of the gentlemen is to teach music, belongs to our church, and he's a great music teacher. And I tell you, if you really want your child to be in a safe environment to learn and grow into something special, enroll them in him by her Collegiate School of Arts. Well, thank you, Dr. Heron. Don't forget to mention we got open enrollment for those who are not working to come to our school as well. Minority Contractors Collaboration. You can go on the website and register today at mccindiana.org, mccindiana.org. Hit that registration button, or you can go online. Just Google him by her Collegiate School of Arts. You can sign your kids up today. All right. Thank you, Dr. Heron, for calling in. We have another caller. Go ahead with your question or comment.
Yes, hi. I wanted to know, do they take preschoolers? Do they have a pre-K program?
Oh, yeah, K through 8. K through 8. K through 8.
Oh, so they only do kindergarten. They don't do preschool.
I don't know for sure. I don't want to answer that question because I'm not 100% sure. But I would say if you call that school, him by her Collegiate School of Arts, Harry Dunn is one of the leaders over there, great principal, teachers. Everybody's on board with making sure the children are able to learn. So feel free to go. They're doing tours too. So
do you know if they have transportation or not?
I think they would get you over there. They're that motivated. 4501 East 32nd Street is the address you want to reach. 4501 East 32nd Street. The Old Forest Manor Middle School is where we're at. So you can feel free to bring as many kids as you can enroll. We want to make sure this school is a success, and we need to be intentional about it. And I tell you what, you won't regret it. Matter of fact, I was talking to my grandkids about it. I got 2 wonderful grandkids that's going to enroll. And here's what I'll say. If we want to correct all the mental illnesses and the lack of education that our community is having, we need to start them off early, and let's get them together and let them learn from a great curriculum that's been specially designed for our children in need. All right.
Right. So they do offer like IPs and stuff. They have programs for special needs.
Oh yeah. I believe they do. Go over and take a tour. They got all kind of things that they're doing over there that's off the radar. I even have a vocational training school that's located inside the building. So there's so many different things. I think they got a nursing over there. They got a number of different things. I just don't want. I know it's enough to be dangerous, but I tell you, I do know that they're recruiting students like you wouldn't believe. So don't just take your kids. Take your kids and the clan of all the other kids.
For my sister and her kids. So
her kids, okay.
Do it and
because
my daughter, she'll be going to preschool, but if I can't get her in for pre-K, I'll definitely get her ready for next year. But my sister has some older children, and they would probably be able to benefit from this program. So I'll check it out. Thank you.
Thank you. You have a wonderful day. All right. Look like we got Sister Lorraine is our next caller, another strong soldier out in the community. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. I am doing great and just loving being out here meeting the people and talking with children and family members in the what community? What is the name? Hawthorne. At Hawthorne Place. That's where we are. Hawthorne Place off of 32nd and Emerson. Yeah.
32nd and Emerson. Y'all doing all right out there? Staying safe? Staying warm?
Yes, we are. We've had prayer earlier, and everyone that we've come in contact with and talking with has been so nice and understandable. We feel very safe. We feel very safe being out here. Yes.
Awesome. On the 17th, we're going to be talking to Commander Wally, and we're going to be trying to unleash out our community faith walks.
Okay.
And so with that in mind, we go door to door and we recruit students for him by her Collegiate School of Arts and our program for construction training and all of that. We want to make a merger of this. And then even on Wednesday, from the hours of 9 to 12, we're having a job fair. So when those individuals come and seek for jobs, let's make sure we sign them up for him by her
That's right.
Collegiate School of Arts, so that we're all keeping everybody together, keeping the family tight, and keep everybody working, getting career opportunities. That's just what it's about. If we don't do it, no one else will do it for us, right?
You're right. You're right. If we don't do it, nobody else will do it. And so, and until we get out here and meet the people, then they don't know what's going on, and they don't know how much help there is out here, and what we're trying to do.
That's right. I just want to say that I am so very proud of you guys.
We are so excited about what we're doing, and like I said, we have met people that have just been really friendly and so nice and understandable, and don't know about him by her at Collegiate School. Yeah.
Right. And they need to know. 4501 East 32nd Street. Go get you a tour tomorrow. Matter of fact, it was only about 10 minutes, but if you guys would have called in earlier, I'd have tried to rush some people over there. But they're doing tours all the way to about 7 o'clock, aren't they?
Yes, they are. They are.
Yeah, so go get you a tour and to get all your questions answered. We'll definitely meet you over there. If you want some company to help get you over there, a ride or whatever, we'll figure it out. But Sister Lorraine, I really appreciate you and your hard work and dedication to the community. Know that we love you. I love you. And may Godspeed be with you and the Holy Spirit.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you so much, Brother Antonio, Minister Antonio. Thank you so much. We love you also. And we're servants for the Lord, and we're just trying to encourage our people and let them know what's going on here in Indianapolis and all around Indianapolis.
All right. Well, thank you. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
God bless you. Dr. Brown, now these are solutions. People say, hey, I'm wondering what can be the solution for the community. Well, I tell you what, one of the biggest solutions is right in front of us, getting our children educated at a school that'll help them, because we're talking about mental illness, we're talking about health, we're talking about wellness. Well, we don't want to leave out the children.
That's correct. That's very correct.
Yeah.
And in at the same token of that statement, we don't want to leave out our older elderly wisdom.
That's right.
Our elderly who can help children, and in a kind of a unique way, children give the elderly a kind of unexpected energy.
That's right. That's right. And I would solicit all of the elderly that are listening. Call your grandkids. Call those kids that that would qualify K through 8, and get them enrolled in the school that's right in the neighborhood. If we don't bring value to our neighborhood and to our school systems where we are in our own community, and this is not just for blacks, it's for whites, it's for Mexicans, Latinos, whoever. I'm talking about community itself. If we don't value our community, then no one else will.
There is another point that the young lady called about preschool. There is the program called Head Start.
Head Start, that's right.
That is preschool. It's part of Family Development Services. And with your work and the ones like Lorraine and Dorothy and Lisa and others, you can touch base with Family Development Services, which is Head Start. And Head Start can also accommodate, since you've got the facility, can accommodate you all by having a presence at him and her.
That's right. That's right. So
Family Development Services headquarters is on 38th Street, 38th and Meridian. Family Development Services, which is Head Start.
Right.
And Head Start is a very effective program, and it would be advantageous to you all creating a partnership. So then you get the preschoolers, and that preschoolers will become a feeder for your kindergarten and first all the way through the 8th grade.
Well, you know what? That's a great segue of getting ready to close our show out. I want to thank all of our weekly listeners, those who call in and participate in this show. This show would not be any good without you. Black Power Presents loves to have you on board with us, calling and giving your comments and your questions being answered by my good friend, Dr. Thomas Brown, who has done a wonderful job today in helping us have this broadcast. Again, I'm going to close out by saying this. Get your kids in the right school. Him by Her Collegiate School Arts, 4501 East 32nd Street. I'm going to try to see what I can do to do a double hitter on next week so we can have Harry Dunn on here next week or someone representing to talk about this wonderful school and the wonderful opportunity for our community. Again, it's been Black Power Presents. I've been your host, Antonio Lipscomb. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. God bless you. Peace.
You have been listening to Black Power Presents. We hope that you've been enlightened today. For more information about our sponsor, Minority Contractors Collaboration, and our radio program, please contact us at 317-991-3150. That's 317-991-3150. Or contact our host, Antonio Lipscomb, via email at antonio@mccindiana.org. That's Antonio@mccindiana.org. Thank you for tuning in, and we look forward to you joining us again next week.